So, friends and followers, this week is just quite crazy by what I'm already seeing. So, I have my DOT physical tomorrow. I need y'all to please understand that you're going to have to pay attention with all the free speech stuff and the inauguration going on. And because this week's bound to get crazy. So, right now, on Truckin' It, with all the craziness that's going on, we're talking Highway Survival 101. Now, it's not just political unrest. So, these tips can save your life. I need you to watch the whole video till the end, so that you can pick up the necessary tools that you need to survive out on the highway this week. And that's coming up right now. Alright, so here in that land of truck driving and going down the road and having your happy face on, you're going to run into situations every now and then that will leave you literally scratching your head. Because they'll be that crazy. And I know this week's going to be one of those weeks where you have a lot of those situations. And last week I already had to reroute twice. Believe it or not, due to weather. So I want to start you off with the right tools for the job. Now, these are basic tools that every driver needs to have on board their truck in case there is an emergency that either shuts down the highway or causes them to be broke down. I want to start you off with rule number 1, situational awareness. If you're not situationally aware of what's going on ahead of you and what kind of route you're taking, that's going to be a problem. So tools to help you with situational awareness are GPS and tablet devices like this for your navigation. Maybe your ELD's on here too. Motor Carrier's Road Atlas, just in case your GPS or ELD goes down. This way you have a backup so you can write stuff down for paper logbooks, etc. Also, your phone. In the Motor Carrier's Atlas, there's a lot of information in regards to checking your road conditions. So, if you need to check like what's going on the highway, you can call for road condition information using the numbers provided in the front section of this. Number 2, blankets, pillows, and stuff to keep warm. It's wintertime in the United States, and in the Northern Hemisphere in general. So, if you do not have a way like this to keep yourself warm, you're out of luck when it gets cold outside. So, don't be out of luck. Get yourself the stuff to keep yourself warm before the weather hits. Number 3. Your basic essentials. Make sure you have extras of anything on this list that you need. I'll start off with extra food, because the restaurants may not be open. And even if they are, they're going to be serving limited quantities and limited capacity. Number 2, medication. Let me grab the bag here. Get yourself an organizer like this. They're available readily at the truck stops. You can put your medicines in here so that you can grab and go. And make sure that you're complying with your medication regimen too. If you're not, you're going to be in trouble. Number 3, toiletries, as we call them here in the States. Or bathroom items if you live elsewhere. These are basic supplies like your shampoo, your toothpaste, your deodorant. Stock up on those before you leave town. And make sure you've got plenty in your truck. Especially with the pandemic stuff. Make sure you include face masks and hand sanitizer as part of that list. So, now that we've covered that stuff, then you want to go into your vehicle fluids. Your washer fluid, engine coolant, oil, transmission fluid. If your company doesn't handle that latter item. If your vehicle has hydraulic brakes, brake fluid. If your vehicle has air brakes, antifreeze for your air brake system. Anti-gel for your fuel. Well, if you run anywhere north of I-40. And make sure that you have extra drinks. Buy these as often as necessary. Now, I know I'm using Coca-Cola as an example, but bottled water or any other drink that you have access to, especially those that are non-caffeinated, and especially those that are high in nutrition. So, and if you don't have access to those, you're also going to need some distilled water, bottled water, and drink mix packets. Which, that third item's generally not available at the truck stops, but you can buy it at dollar stores and retailers before you leave town to avoid any kind of crisis. So, that's just some of the stuff you need to stock up on. Then in addition to that, make sure that you have a fully charged fire extinguisher, first aid kit, and especially if you're a bus driver or someone who deals with hazmat, since I know those are required by law in those vehicles. And make sure that you have done your pre-trip before you get to the major cities, because you do not want to stop at all unless you are heading to your customer or you have a plan to get around when you're dealing with the major cities and the capital regions. And that's right, I said capital regions for a reason. Because the DOT guidance this week is stating that you need to avoid all capital regions unless there is no other detour that's available to you. So, I know, for example, I cannot avoid Little Rock or Nashville due to the fact that the interstate runs right through those towns. And I know I definitely can't avoid Memphis since I have to cross the DeSoto Bridge. And all my alternates require I run through state capitals. So, I've got a plan in place right now to help alleviate some of the issues. I will be using a lot of the loops and a lot of the highways that go around, but there's no guarantees in my case. So that leads me to self-defense training. If you are not trained on things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or self-defense in general, come on. I do not understand why you're not trained on that stuff. Now, my co-driver is going through Jiu-Jitsu training and also has some stuff I can't talk about on here. Let's just say he's allowed to carry a weapon if necessary. For me personally, I'm autistic. So I have to do a different self-defense strategy from someone else who isn't. I'm not sure what the regulations are in regards to my autism and carrying a firearm. But in the meantime, while I research those regulations, I'm learning the other self-defense techniques, such as using your keys as nunchucks, using pepper spray, learning how to rope. And you can carry any one of these items on board a truck or commercial vehicle legally. So, please check with your company for details on how you do that stuff and what's allowed, what's not. Because a lot of these companies have regulations saying, we don't want this kind of stuff in our vehicles, we don't want this, we don't want that. So check for details. And if the worst case scenario happens, and let's say you do get attacked, remain calm. Don't panic. Use your phone, or perhaps if you have one, a camera like this to document the situation. And be prepared to share the evidence of that situation when it does happen with your company, with the DOT, and with any police department that may be involved. So that way they can arrest the appropriate individuals, or they can have a talk with you about maybe, hey, we found this as part of this operation or whatever. And there is another trick that I know of that applies to solo drivers specifically. If you are a solo driver, meaning you run by yourself, you don't have anyone else in the truck, and you have to stop for the night somewhere, put your seatbelt through the door before you go to bed. Now, this will hinder your ability to escape in a fire, but it will also stop the break-in that could potentially kill you. By preventing your door from getting open. And that will increase the amount of time you have to respond when you hear the guy knocking and pulling on your door handle. So please, stay safe. Stay vigilant. And let's make your best trip your next trip. Now, one last thing. If you have the option to do so, and your company allows you to do this with short notice, because most of them don't these days due to demand of drivers, ask for time off due to safety concerns. If you don't feel comfortable driving, don't. Because in the end, it's your life, your truck, or your company's truck, and your safety. That is priority number 3 after God and family. That's right. So many people say safety is first, but if safety was first, we wouldn't even be running this week. Safety is third, as Mike Holmes put it. After God and family. Those are the 3 most important things that you have are God, family, and safety. And if you can do things safer and better, everyone wins. Out on the road and at home. So please pay attention. Follow your road condition line. And stay safe out there on the highway. So that way, you get home to your family safe. I'm Zach Bell. This is Truckin' It. And I will catch you later. Bye for now.